like notes to the hourglass. These are the songs of our lives.
Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Songs of Our Lives. I am Brad Rose. I am an artist, a composer, a writer, the founder of Foxy Digitalis, and somebody who thinks about music and sound far more than is healthy. Each week, I invite on a guest to talk about the songs and the music that has meant a lot to them and been with them throughout their journey. Past guests include Jalen, Miriam Gendron, Leah Bertucci, Rosalie, Claire Rousset, Mastodon Roberts, Mizu, the list goes on. But this week, I'm thrilled to have the poet laureate of Edmonton, Alberta, Canada himself, Cadence Weapon. His new album, ROLLERCOASTER, it's been out for about a month and a half now, and I swear it's like it keeps getting better. I keep wanting to listen to it more as time goes on. It's like this become this brainworm in the best possible way. And I was thinking about I don't know if I could pick a favorite track on there, but the one that I'm really drawn to right now is Press Eject, which he captures this feeling that I know a lot of people that I know in like music and art and creative spaces have been feeling of just like, there's this line in it of don't want to pay for the space that I made, and how, increasingly, like you're just getting squeezed out. I don't know. It's just this, there's just something about this track, and the production on it by Grand Theft is unbelievable. The production throughout this record, something really special. Like the Cadence Weapon records have always, like, the production on have always been great, but I really, really love this one. There's like the variety in it, and it like it feels like a Cadence Weapon record, but it doesn't sound like any other Cadence Weapon record. And that's like always such a tough needle to thread, but he really pulls it off. Anyway, I could go on about it. ROLLERCOASTER is really great. Go check it out. And yeah, we recorded this a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago. I honestly don't remember exactly when, but it was an absolute blast. And I certainly hope to have him back on the show in the future. And yeah, hope you all enjoy it. My guest today is a rapper, a producer, a writer, an activist, and the former poet laureate of Edmonton. It is Cadence Weapon. Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's good?
So, the album, ROLLERCOASTER, it's been out now for a few weeks. How's it going? How's everything? Like, does it feel good to have it out there?
Yeah, it feels really good. It's very cathartic to have some new music out there. My last album came out in 2021. So in, today's streaming world, it's like I died.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, it's okay with me because I like to really just put a lot of thought into my records and really try and make them really special every time. And I don't mind taking the time to do that.
Yeah. Well, it's been on pretty regular rotation here. And I saw you, I think you may have said this on your newsletter, but how it's kind of like the sort of like electro album of your dreams.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
That is, which is like kind of this perfect description, but what kind of led you in that direction with this record?
I've always been interested in that music. I DJ as well, so that's the kind of stuff I'll play when I'm DJing. And sometimes at parties, I just jump on the mic and like rap over like this super fast electronic music. But I realized I'd never done it on any of my records. So I was like, I need to have some tracks that are somewhat club friendly in that way, like that I could fit into my own set.
One of the things that, like, you got a bunch of great producers as ever, but kind of in that vein, I was so excited when I saw that Lorraine James did one of the tracks, because she's one of my absolute favorite producers on the planet. How was it? she did a remix of the last, like on one, like the last record, right? Is that how you all first hooked up?
We've just been friends just through the internet. As soon as she first came on the scene, like I have this thing where when I see people who are on the same wavelength as me, it's like they're like glowing to me. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, I got to talk to this person. Or it's like, I got to collab with this person. Like they're speaking the same musical language. That's what I really felt with Lorraine. And I'd asked her to do that remix. And then actually the beat for EFT on my album, she actually played it on Twitter. She had just posted like, hey, I made this. This is a crazy beat. I wonder if somebody could rap over this, because she was like, I don't think anybody could rap on it. And I was like, emoji, like let me try. And yeah, that's how it started.
That's awesome. That's so cool. Like, yeah, I love that. Like those kind of, I don't know, like sort of like serendipitous collaborative moments like that are, yeah, that's awesome. I was also, one of the things, I keep referring to your Substack, but your Substack's really good. So if people who are listening aren't reading that, they should. But one of the pieces that you wrote, I think it was last year, that really spoke to me is you talked about how you find music and how people are always asking you, how do I find music? And I mean, I get asked that a lot too. And it feels like an impossible question to answer, but your piece was this great like overview of, I mean, there's a million ways, but I don't really know if I really have a question here other than I just love that piece. And that's one of my favorite things to talk about is like virtual crate digging, real crate digging, all those things.
No, I appreciate that. I think I wrote that a little bit for myself just to like actually really think about what my process is. And after I had done it, a lot of people reached out to me and they were just like, this is such a useful resource. Thank you. Because it's like the most common question you get as a musician or like just a music person is like, how do you find new music? Especially in this day and age where discoverability is really the lowest rung on the ladder. Like they actually, the streaming companies and stuff don't really hugely want you to find new music. They want you to be listening to whatever they decide.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's one of the things. I mean, with my website and everything, right? I always feel like as much as writing about the music is the work, just finding the stuff is the work. And I love it. I mean, it's endless. There's this endless sea out there, but that's part of what's so exciting.
No, it's really funny because I'll do all this crazy process of like, oh, I'm on Beatport and I'm going on listening to NTS and I'm checking YouTubes and I'm looking at all my newsletters and I'm just all these abstract sources. And then I'll end up with like 5 new songs.
Right. I know.
After hours.
Yeah. That's the thing is like the hit rate is so low. But that's, hey, that's what
but
it's
even
about.
Just one song that's exactly perfect for you.
Yes.
That's huge.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same. It's kind of like I was thinking about with, like putting out music and stuff nowadays it's totally different than it was 10 years ago, even 20 years ago. But
3 years ago.
Shit.
Trust me, it's way different now.
But getting that one direct message from somebody who's just like, "Guy, this new record really meant something to me for this track or whatever." It's the same feel. Like that means everything. Just like finding that one perfect track out of the sea of 1,000. It's like those things. It means so much more in a way.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how much that means.
I know.
When like I recommend anybody listening, if you have an artist that you really love, that you care about, send them a message, send them a DM, send them whatever, and just be like, this record did something for me, or like it meant something to me, because you don't realize this path is a quite difficult path to choose, and I think you wouldn't choose it unless it was a vocation that chose you, right? Like it's not something I would highly recommend to the novice.
Yeah.
But just the other day, a fan emailed me and sent me this long email just talking about how they'd been following me since I was in Edmonton and Poet Laureate and all this stuff, and like how I represent for Edmonton, and it was like such a meaningful message, especially because it was an actual email. It was it was like a long I don't get any emails like that from my friends
No.
or anybody anymore. And it just made me think of like how, and this is a lot what I'm talking about on this album, the connections that we used to have in early internet versus today.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's a big part of what resonated with me, I think, about this record and why I've been listening to it so much. Like, I'm a little older than you are, but it's the same. Thinking back to I mean, I think I was on the internet. I was talking to somebody about this the other day because my dad was a computer programmer, so we had the internet in our house like really early, like
Yeah.
94 or something.
Yeah.
But even just like the MySpace days and the like all of it was just different. There was like real, I don't know. Nowadays it just feels like this void a lot of the times.
It feels like the mall.
Yeah.
Honestly, it feels like you're in a mall. And you're like, oh, okay. Oh, there's the Facebook store. Oh, there's the Instagram store.
Yes.
You know, and it's just like, hey, buy something. And it's like the spam. It's just like ads that are just going to buy. It's the same.
Right. It's those kiosks in the mall where you're walking by and somebody's like, hey, do you want a purse? Hey, do you want a...
Hey, do you want a VPN?
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm okay. Thanks.
Yeah. Well, God, I feel that. Okay. Well, I could go down this rabbit hole for a while, but we are on a time crunch. So we're going to get into the meat of this. And as ever, to start, the first question is, what is the first song that you remember?
Yeah. So this was really hard. I gave you, it's a James Brown. And I was like, I feel good. I don't quite remember the exact James Brown song, to be honest. But the reason I remember this is it's like a core memory for me. Hanging out at my family's place, like my grandparents' place, specifically in Edmonton, and everybody's sitting around in a circle, and we're all chatting and hanging out, and the James Brown is blaring, and I run into the center of the room and I bust a move. I remember I was just a small child, and everyone's clapping and laughing, right? And because I'm entertaining, but then I think they're laughing at me, and then I start sobbing, crying.
Oh wow!
I was a very emotional child, and then my grandma gave me some lifesavers, and I stopped crying. So.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
What an early memory too. I mean, you get asked this question. It's an old job I had when they would do these stupid icebreakers at staff meetings. One of the things was like, if you could go and see any artist in their prime perform, who would it be? Like James Brown was always on that list for me. Like,
oh, for sure. Yeah, like he, Soul Brother number one.
Yeah,
so it's like he's a great example of somebody who. This is what happens if you are a true tyrant. You are a very maligned person, but then maybe you can get access to some of the greatest performances ever.
Yeah.
That's the trade-off.
It is. Yeah. Was there, like, growing up, was there music in the house a lot? I mean, did your parents listen to a lot of stuff? And
oh yeah, for sure. Like my dad was a DJ.
Oh, well,
right?
Hell.
So like I basically grew up in a library of music. So there was always music playing, and particularly funk music. Like funk music is really kind of like my core music. It's like my essence. Live for the funk, die for the funk.
That's awesome. And you grew up in Edmonton, which I've never been to Edmonton. My mom is from Winnipeg.
Oh,
so
okay.
We used to go to Winnipeg in the summer. We were there one winter, and it was a horrible idea. And it was a record snowstorm or something. And then it was like, okay, we're going to go in the summer now. But I feel like Tulsa, which is where I'm at, in Edmonton, they seem like they probably have a lot in common, just around the same size. I was looking at this, and kind of because Edmonton's like in the Canadian Prairie area, like
yes.
So, Oklahoma, very prairie-like, but I'm guessing, like Tulsa, to me, growing up here and living here, people are always surprised by how much like interesting art and music and stuff there is happening.
Yeah.
Was Edmonton like that too? Like there was. stuff happening that people were maybe not aware of outside of the.
Hugely, yeah. I mean, there was a huge DIY music scene when I was growing up and coming on the scene, like a lot of hardcore bands and like people, it was that kind of era of people, doing screen printing posters and stuff and like making their own clothes, and everybody had a different band and weird music projects. So, and it was cool because it was totally self-contained. Like nobody was really checking on what was happening in Edmonton. So we just did our own thing. And I think that really inspired me a lot to make the music I did.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that I resonate with that so much, especially, I don't know what it is about these like mid-sized cities and the prairies, but hardcore. Everyone here had a hardcore band. It was
very angry people.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's cold. We're mad.
Yeah.
And we need to tell you about it.
Yeah. Okay, well, on the opposite side of hardcore and being angry, maybe, what is a song that makes you cry?
So this was actually hard. It's weird because I'm actually very emotional, but I don't often cry to music. That is not like a default emotion for me when I'm listening to music.
Right.
So I had to really think of it, and I went with Buffy St. Marie, The Angel, which is I find it to be an incredibly beautiful song. It's from the album Illuminations, which is it's a really underrated album of hers. And I actually saw her perform at Primavera Sound in Barcelona the year I played there. So that would have been like 2012. And it was at this big amphitheater, and I went there with my friend Melissa, who was she was the tour manager for Japan Droids, and we were on tour together. I was on tour of Japan Droids.
Nice.
And we went to that show together, and we were both just sobbing.
Yeah,
it was just so powerful.
I bet, man. Yeah, this song is just I like the term haunting is overused in describing music, but this song, it will haunt your dreams. It is so heartbreaking and beautiful, and oh man, and her voice, she just sounds like she's in her like at the end.
yeah, it's very elegiac.
Yes. Yeah, when people often misuse that word, but this song is.
I might not say a word correctly, but I will always use it in the right place.
I know that's one of those, one of the hardest things about doing this podcast is like, I'm used to reading things like words or band names. And then I realize, oh, I got to say this out loud, and I have no. So, yeah. Okay. Well, on the other side, what's a song that'll put you in a better mood?
Oh, I love the song I chose for this. It's called Fanny Likes to Dance by Merle. And let me just tell you the story of this song. So Merle is a guy, he was in a group called Virgo 4, kind of an early house duo from Chicago. And this is a side project thing that he did later.
Okay.
And man. This song, he sings as this woman, Fanny, that he was dating.
Oh my
so
God.
he's putting on kind of a fake woman's voice, and it's dedicated kind of to her. And he's just like, my name is Fanny. I like to dance a lot. Right? It's like it's this girl he was dating who loved to dance. And there's just something very innocent and really, it just feels like happiness or something.
Yeah.
There's just something that's really pure about it. Another cool thing about this song is he re-recorded it after people were like, you need to reissue this track. And he's like, I will, but I'm married to someone else. So I have to change the person. So it became Mimi Loves to Dance. And,
that's amazing.
And he's singing as her. And so the voice is he even does a slightly different voice.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I had no idea this was, because I got a couple Virgo 4 records, and I had no idea the connection. That's amazing.
Like you wouldn't think this would be like the Virgo 4 guy, and
Right?
like it's quite different music, but yeah, the whole EP this comes from is like straight fire. It's so good.
Oh man, I'm going to go listen to the whole thing. Yeah, like you said, it feels like happiness. I think a big part of that for me, that bass line just is, oh god, I just want to live inside that bass line.
Yeah, it's a song like it's a song that sounds like the way dancing feels.
Yeah. Oh, that's a really good description. Yeah, I mean, it's as soon as it comes on, it's hard to sit still. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Like you can just like right now, I can see you're just hearing it in your head, and you just got to.
Yeah. Like it's like there's nothing better than like having a song like this and playing it at the exact right moment where you're DJing like a big rave or a huge dance party, and like everybody is so ready to dance.
Yes.
Oh God, I love that.
That's amazing. Oh, that's perfect. I love that too. That's great. Okay, well, here's everybody's favorite question. What is objectively the best song of all time?
So I don't know if this is going to make me seem super basic, but I just went with the Beach Boys. God Only Knows. I'm sure that's a common answer. Has that come up before?
I feel like that maybe came up once.
Okay.
But it's one of the, there's like a handful of questions or handful of songs like this one where it's like, yeah, this is objectively like a height of sonic achievement.
Sure. Like, like if we're talking about music, this is what we always hope to achieve when you make a song. Something that is so beyond the experience of just crafting a song to the point where it feels like it was always around. That's the crazy thing. Like this is a timeless feeling to this song where it's like, yeah, I can't imagine life without it. Now that's fire.
Yeah, I did one of these a couple weeks ago, and the guest picked this Eric Satie piece, Gymnopody.
Oh, beautiful.
And we had this conversation of like, imagine living in a time like before this existed. It's hard to imagine.
I think about that all the time, actually, like with this kind of thing, or like the Beatles or Stevie Wonder and stuff. Right. I like to imagine being around like when it dropped.
Yes.
Because it's like they just pop this on the radio. It's like, whoa. It must have been like the same way we feel about the internet when it first came out. Or something. Right. It's just like, this is crazy. You can just type and do things online. Right. It's like I'm in a chat room. That's like what it feels like hearing if you were like when God Only Knows came out. It's just like, because that's the other thing too. Like music was also just like mono and stuff for a long time. It's like this is like in a transitional period of where I need some more tracks. I'm making this music's too crazy, man. I need more tracks.
Yes.
Like label, like get me some more fucking tracks.
That's when you've reached a certain level of success when you're like, give me some more fucking tracks. Like, invent more tracks.
Every like most fire group that was like, I need more tracks. People are like best bands ever. They're like the Beatles and stuff because they had access to the newest technology. They had more tracks and they were just able to just get freakier before anybody else. So of course it sounds way better than anything else. But hey, whatever.
Yeah.
It's good.
But like God Only Knows. I mean, you put it on now and it's just it's a like perfect piece of music.
Oh, this man Brian Wilson, he was working on this shit like crazily.
Yeah.
He like I read Catch a Wave, the book about him, and it's just the process of making like this song and Good Vibrations. It's like you think people are making songs now, like it's not the same. Like we'll never see the kind of budget that they had ever again. It's insane. He's like, oh yeah, orchestra. Can you guys just like wait a second? I'm gonna do some acid down the street here, and then my brother is gonna like go move in with the Manson family, and then I'll be right back, and we can finish. God Only Knows. Yeah,
wouldn't fly today, even for the biggest of artists. I don't think. Well, yeah, no, I'm surprised more people don't pick this because it is. it's the right answer.
And you know what's interesting too? It's like a very complex song, but the sentiment at the heart of it is so simple and beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
That's, I think, part of what makes it so timeless. And the idea also of like, it is not a conventional love song.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
The sentiment of the song is kind of tricky.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't as obvious as like a lot of songs like previously
Right.
before this song came out. Like, you know, everything was like, hey, like, I love you, you love me, right?
Right.
But this is I may not always love you, but long as there are stars above you, you never need to doubt it. I'll make you so sure about it. Like it is I love opening a song with those lines. That's perfection.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a piece of art.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a great answer. So, well, on a different tangent here, what's a song that you used to love it, but you heard it recently, or if you think about it now, it doesn't really do it for you?
Yeah, you know, it's funny. This question is interesting because what I was thinking of is basically the opposite of something like God Only Knows, like some timeless music that never goes bad. I went back. I had to do a DJ set for ISO Radio in Toronto, and I was like, I want to do a special of underground rap that I grew up listening to, you know. So I went and I was digging in the crates, just listening back to a lot of these songs, and I was just like, oh my God, what is he saying? It's horrible. Some of the stuff was so homophobic and sexist and misogynist, and you know, it was really hard to find something that you could play for a human being like in the 21st century. Like, this is too crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And a really good example of that would have been Nonfiction. That group. I picked the song Rock Stars. You know, it's like, this is the kind of thing I used to listen to a lot in high school. Right. And I was just like, yeah, hell yeah. Like, I was like, these beats are amazing. It's like, this isn't like rap on the radio. It's different. Right. It's underground. It's underground. It's not mainstream. It's different. But then I like going back and listening to it. And it, you know, I know it was intentionally shocking, a lot of it.
Sure.
But some of it is just like, this is like, it's like on the border of like edgelord, right, kind of alt-right conspiracy theorist levels.
Yes. Yeah. No, that's interesting. Yeah. No, it's interesting too about the song, like just the production of it, like just the beat and stuff.
Fire.
Stills. Yeah. I mean, I think this one was DJ Premier, I think.
Yeah, that's Primo. So it's like, you know, it's going to be timeless. They had the most insane production on this album.
Yeah. But
like,
then
how did they do that? They had like the beat nuts. And I guess obviously they're on Necro's label. So he had some beats on there. They had, I think they had Pete Rock as well. Like,
I think there was, yeah.
It's like, it was like the greatest production lineup since like Illmatic. And it was for Nonfiction. A somewhat forgettable underground rap group.
Yeah, I don't see a lot of people talking about Nonfiction these days.
No, and I guess for good reason. Yeah. Although you know, shout out, they got that song "Black Helicopters" was good.
Yeah,
you know, I wish more people were making conspiracy music, because I feel like nowadays everything is like you don't want to shake the boat at all.
Right, it's too
like,
sanitized.
Yeah, and it's just very in like the reality that you can appreciate. Right, there's nothing like. It used to be when I was growing up, even like all the mainstream rap was just like, yo, keep your third eye open.
Right.
You know, he's like trying to overstand what people are trying to put down, you know?
We need more. I'm right there with you. We need more of that in 2024.
Hey, I'm trying to bring it back, man. I'm talking about how I'm getting shadow banned on my album. Like, people are, you know, it's like they're keeping people from my posts.
Well, hey. People, hopefully it'll catch on. Like, people will hear your record and be like, hey, this is a good idea. Yeah, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. Okay, well, what is a song that a lot of people hate? Some group of people, some person, I don't know. But people hate it. You don't care. You love it.
Yeah, so I used to have a really major obsession with Ian Dury.
Mm.
And the Blockheads, and I used to listen to it a lot. And I had roommates when I was earlier in this phase, and they were just like, "Oh God, that he's playing this like Cockney, like jazz fusion rock music, like is like so annoying." And I realized it is ostensibly quite annoying music. Like it's really like fast and noisy and like funky and weird, and the singing is like strange, but I think that's really what I like about it. Is it was like I think it really
Yeah.
influenced me actually at the time, like on my third album on Hope in Dirt City, just like the kind of like funky rhythms and like a guy like screaming on it and stuff.
Right.
So the song I chose was the Dance of the Screamers, which is a song where the chorus he's just like literally just screaming.
Oh, I know, and it's not even. It's like real scream, like visceral screams. It's crazy. It's great.
Yeah, like I used to rock out to that kind of thing in the house, and people are just like, "Oh God, he's putting it on again." Yeah.
Yeah, that's it's funny. Like we were talking before the call about our kids. So my daughter she's gonna be in 6th grade next year, and she's joining the orchestra. She wants to play the violin.
Nice.
And everybody's telling me like, "Oh, good luck. It's gonna be rough the first, you know." And I'm just like, if you heard some of the music I listen to, you would realize I'm not scared.
Yeah, bro, like a music person, like it's like, listen, I got a very high tolerance for strangeness and noise.
Yeah.
Like it's all good.
Yeah, it's gonna be like I'm gonna think I forgot to take a record off or something. It's gonna be like, no, she's just screeching away.
Yeah, it's like, is this Mersbo?
Right.
No,
it's like, oh no, that's actually my kid trying to, play a Mary Had a Little Lamb. Well, I think Dance of the Screamers is like a really kind of underrated jam. So
I agree.
I'm on your side.
Listen, like I'm like a diehard Ian Dury guy, and I even like the later stuff that he did. He had one album that was like all Compass Point production. I don't
think I've heard that.
And it's called Lord Upminster.
Okay.
And it's got some like absolutely irredeemably terrible songs that I really like a lot. Like there's something about his music is a lot of it is really bad, or like I guess it's just like annoying, or like there's something wrong with quite a lot of it. But I really like it. Go figure.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna look up that album now. You've got me curious. So hey, and we'll see if I find it annoying. I don't know. I like a lot of music that most people I know think is annoying. So
you might vibe.
Yeah. Do you think of yourself as a romantic?
I am. Yeah, I would say so. I'm a Pisces. I'm a triple water sign. So.
Oh, geez.
So I'm very emotional.
Okay. I think my daughter's a triple water sign. So.
Wow. Watch out for that.
Yeah, it makes things interesting sometimes. But okay, what's the most romantic song?
So this was a really easy pick for me. I said I Only Have Eyes for You by the Flamingos. This is a song it played at our wedding, me and my wife. So I feel like this song is just like synonymous with romance in my mind. And I love how the production is so spare, and it's just got that kind of echo, that chibop chibop. It's like there's an otherworldly feeling to it, and I think it really captures the feeling of like when you really fall in love with somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like you're kind of floating through the world, and because you're so enamored with this feeling of you have for this person, and and you feel kind of untouchable. And I feel like the production, God, those background vocals on this song are some of the best ever. And like the shabop shabops, and then on the chorus when it gets,
it feels like when you're like really in love, it's like it's like that Spike Lee double dolly shot.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're just like floating like in Malcolm X.
Yes,
yeah,
I love this song. I hadn't listened to it in a minute, and so when I was prepping for this, I just like had it on repeat for a while because it's just such a. This is a song that also would put me in a better mood because it's just so dreamy.
And it's also one of those ones that, like God Only Knows, that's just so timeless. Like it feels like it's always been there, and it's like a part of the furniture. Like
Yes.
it's you can't imagine it having not existed ever.
Right. Yes, absolutely. Well, what's a song that changed your perspective on an artist, either for better or for worse?
So this is interesting. For me, the first thing that came to mind was actually Frank Ocean when he dropped Nikes. Because up to that point, I was like not a Frank Ocean fan, really. Like I didn't really, and everyone thought I was crazy. Like I felt like I was the only person who wasn't really vibing with it, and it seemed like it profiled as something that I would really like a lot.
Right.
But just I never really got into Channel Orange or like any of the Nostalgia Ultra. Like I felt like it was a little. I didn't like the music of it. I didn't like the production. I felt like there's something kind of cloying about the lyrics and stuff. Like it just felt like Tumblr or something.
Yeah.
There was just something that it just never really connected with me. Like I liked the song here or there. Like I like Thinking About You and Pink Matter. But up to that point, like I was just not a Frank Ocean fan at all. And then Blonde dropped, and then I was just like, listened to that record obsessively. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, oh, he is a genius. But this is a thing that I talk about often with musicians. It's like, it's not that I was wrong. No, I wasn't wrong. He just improved.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I feel like he clearly took a step up. Music got way more fire.
No, I'm right there with you. Like before Blonde, there was stuff I liked, but it was real hit or miss. A lot more miss than hit. Like there were songs I liked but I was mostly kind of agnostic about it. It's like, whatever. And then, this came out and it's like, where was this guy?
Yeah. And then even like Endless too, I was like, man, this is incredible. Like, and then from that point, I became just a hardcore like stan of Frank Ocean. Like I bought his jewelry, not the cock ring. I got a regular ring and a chain. I was like, man, I just want to like support this man,
Yeah, no, I remember, and gosh, I remember when Nikes dropped, and it just, the first half of it with like the pitch shifted vocals,
crazy.
Yeah, that just blew my mind. It was like,
what's funny about that too is it's so influential. It's like there's still people who it's like on the mood board. Like, can you make some Frank Ocean-y Nikes type pitch shifted vocals, please?
Yeah, I mean that's always one of those things. You've hit something when when did this come out? This is almost 10 years ago now.
Oh God, yeah, that's funny.
Like, and it's still being mimicked.
It's the greatest form of flattery, my friend.
Yeah, yeah. And God, yeah. I was very happy to like go down memory lane on this, and just this song, this album, it's as good as it gets.
It's also one of those records that I use as like a palate cleanser. Especially if I want to like make something new, like I can reset by listening to that record, or like even just listening to Frank's, like a lot of his stuff. Like I love those singles he was putting out, like Chanel and all that stuff at that time. I feel like he's an artist that you listen to and it makes you want to make stuff. It makes you want to be creative, because there's some artists that are so good it makes you want to never make any music ever.
Right.
Right. But he's the other kind, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a really good description. I'm so relieved to, I get these song lists and I start, and I don't know what questions to answer. I'm like, oh God, what if this is like Nikes is a song you used to love and now you think it's terrible? What's that conversation like? So I'm relieved because this is, okay. What lyrics? What are some of your favorite lyrics? Whether it's a whole song, whether it's just a couple lines, one line.
So I'm a really big Steely Dan fan, and it's interesting. Only until recently, I had never really listened to the newer Steely Dan records. Right, like I had ignored them for a long time because I was, I just listened to the production. It was just too newfangled. I was like, this is not good. I don't want to listen to this. But I went back and listened to them, and I'm like, in fact, maybe I'm just washed now. But I go back and listen to them. I'm like, man, this is really popping. You know, like I'm like, this is fire. It's like some of it. I think now they're like some of my favorite records of all Steely Dan. So I went. I remember it was a couple summers ago. I was on vacation with my wife, and we were in a cottage, and I was listening to Two Against Nature a lot and reading a book, and it was this song West of Hollywood that I was just like, man, you know, the pen game is outrageous with Steely Dan. The pen is nobody can touch it. There's just a certain kind of depth to everything they do.
Yeah. So this is Steely Dan is a band that I've never been able to get into.
Really?
This is another thing I say. Every time Steely Dan shows up on a list, I'm like, oh, this could get interesting.
Oh.
But, and I, you know, it's one of those things where it's something I feel like I should like there, again, like you were saying with Frank Ocean before it clicked with Blonde, there are so many things about it that I'm like, this is my kind of thing. Why is it not resonate? And maybe a friend of mine said, they were saying, you know, like, I don't say I don't like things, or, you know, because I don't want to like rain on anyone's parade or whatever. He's like, I just say I don't have access to that yet.
Sure.
So
that's a good way to be, I think.
Yeah. So
like, I try to keep it positive. Like I wouldn't say you're like totally insane for not being a Dan man. I think it's a acquired taste for sure. I think it's like, if you love it, you absolutely, there's nothing better.
Yeah. I think too, it's one of those, because I had this experience recently with the band Low. It was another band that I missed it when it started, and then I didn't have a way in. And I did one of these, and somebody picked a song, and it clicked. Like everything clicked. And so I think it's one of those things where I need to find my way in. Now we're going to go into the Patreon section. This is exclusive for Foxy Digitalis Patreon members. So there is one thing I didn't give you advance warning on. The first thing in the Patreon section is to tell us a random or weird or fun fact about yourself that not a lot of people know.
Oh, okay. Well, a random fact about me. I was in a movie as a child. I was in a movie called Snow Day.
Oh, man. I know that.
It was a motion picture with the guy, Chris Elliott, the Tostitos guy.
Yeah.
And Chevy Chase. And the actress who was a coal miner's daughter. I can't remember her name right now. Sissy Spacek.
Yes.
And I was a body double for one of the child actors in the movie. This guy, Jade Yorker. And it was filming in Edmonton. I guess they needed a place that had a lot of snow. So
that's Edmonton qualifies. That'll do. Wow, that's totally random.
Chevy Chase was a total dick too.
That sounds about right.
He was mean to the children.
Oh my god! Come on, dude. Okay. Well, what's a song that a lot of people love but you don't get it?
So my thought was the Taylor Swift discography.
That's fair enough.
I guess it's like, I hate to be maligning this thing that everyone, either you love it or you hate it. People love to say they don't like it, but I actually literally don't understand. I don't get it. Like I'm a lyricist, and I really find a lot of her stuff to be very overwrought and kind of like poorly constructed and stuff. And
right.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. I feel like it's like Bizarro World. I know it's going to get me in trouble or whatever if people hear this. The Swifties are so vengeful.
Right. Luckily, it's behind a paywall, so
so we're good. Yeah. Okay, fuck them, man. No, it's just not really. It just never resonated with me, and I struggle to understand the relevancy of it in the world.
It is. So my daughter is 10, going on 11, and she fucking loves Taylor Swift, but she's 10. Like, okay, and I will say that it has got her interested in, like, I don't think she'd be going into orchestra if it wasn't because she's gotten really into music and performance and stuff through Taylor Swift. So like but that doesn't mean I get it. Like that, like,
no.
and I had some pretty terrible gateways into music back when I was 10.
Oh,
but,
for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it is seeing it through her. It's so beyond what I can understand. Like it's so big. I don't know.
Well, there's all the Easter eggs and there's like a whole world building thing that they do. So I get how you could get into it, but it's just like the music. It really there's few things that have left me colder.
Yeah.
Than this artist.
Yeah. Well, what's your least favorite song then?
My least favorite song is "Roar" by Katy Perry. It is probably the worst song ever made. And the thing that's really annoying about it is they really tried to push it to the public on such a large scale. And they really tried to make it into this hit. But everyone knew it wasn't that good.
Right.
And it just wasn't working. I remember they were going like full brute force, trying to like putting it in the Super Bowl.
It was everywhere.
All these commercials. Yeah. I'm like, no, man, you can't just like pay your way into like this song being a thing. It is so bad.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's just reading the name of like Katy Perry Roar. It's just yeah, terrible shit. Okay, on to better things. Let's talk about actual good songs. What is the last song you completely fell in love with?
So that for me would be Kendrick Lamar, "Not Like Us." Wow, it's a beautiful thing. I love this song on so many levels. As just gamesmanship in the battle. It's like there's nothing worse than having a massive song dissing you.
Right.
Like, can you imagine? Like, is it everywhere you go? It's just like, they're not like us. They're not like us. And it's like everyone's like pointing at you while you're walking by.
Yep.
So it's like a really good move in a battle. But it's also, I think Kendrick got pushed so far to the point where he was like, okay, I am going to make the greatest song I've ever made. I'm going to make it so LA that it's so California, it'll be inescapable. It becomes national. This is like the biggest California tune since California Love.
Right.
By Tupac, to me. It's like you're seeing all these people crip walking to it. It's all over TikTok. I just love the idea that he's brought the kind of lyricism and songcraft that he always does to a very pop rap song.
Yeah.
He's barring out on this. Like even the second verse, he like levitates at the end of that verse. Like he's going crazy. It was like, whew. And it's also the funniest he's ever been. Too.
Right.
He's like, you a fan, free nigga, better stay inside. Like it's like, oh my God. It's like, hey, run for your life. Like it is really amazing. I'm obsessed with this song right now.
No, it's incredible. And just, yeah, like I can't even, like you said, I can't even imagine being the person this song is about.
And particularly about the topic too.
Oh,
what he's dissing him about is just like, man, that is it's deadly.
Yeah, it's like you went for the jugular and landed all your punches, man. And just the way it starts with "I see dead people" is like the perfect.
Like, oh my God, perfect. And it's amazing. The other thing too, Kendrick is such a great songwriter. He thematically connected all of his diss tracks and set them up with the first one. In the first one, he describes exactly what he's going to do if pushed further.
Yeah,
he even says he's like, my music electrifies them. Your music pacifies them. And it's like he literally electrified the world with this song. It's like he knew it was going to do that.
Right.
It's so cool.
I know. It's amazing. Yeah. And why would you pick a fight with it? It's like you knew. I mean,
arrogance.
Exactly.
That's the only, because you got to know better, right?
Right.
He's a Pulitzer Prize winner.
Right.
All the people I know who are the meanest, who have the highest potential for meanness, are the smartest people.
Absolutely. Yeah, because they know how to cut you. Like
for sure.
Yeah. I love that. That's a great pick. What cover is better than the original?
So this is kind of controversial, but this is like probably my favorite cover ever, is the Robert Glasper version of "Smells Like Teen Spirit." He really took it into such a different direction. He's got the vocoder vocals on it and stuff, and it's like this kind of spooky jazz version. It, I think, is amazing, and I think it really brings the lyrics out of the song in a way that, like, I never used to really even like realize what he was saying on the original, right? And it's like it becomes this like haunting, like Afro-futurist, like weird thing.
I mean, Nirvana was, I was like perfect age. It was, you know, very transformative for me, but this really changed my perspective on this song, which was something I didn't think was possible because of, like you said, the way he approaches it. I mean, it's practically, it's just a totally different song. Like he makes it his song.
Yeah.
And it is, I mean, I think I played this once for my wife and she didn't recognize that it was Smells Like. She's like, oh, this is really good. Like, who is this? What? And then she was like, what? But yeah, like his voice, that vocoder, the piano, and I really love the beats and how it's like really frenetic and it's like that kind of, it's almost like this free jazz kind of feeling to it or something.
It's very unexpected, and you know, I love a transformative cover.
Yeah.
So I grew up, I was a really big fan of Tricky. And I always loved his weird covers of songs.
Yes.
And I feel like this is in that kind of family.
Well, not like if you're going to cover a song, go somewhere else with it. Don't just straight up do it. Come on. That's, you know.
Yeah. I mean, what's the point, you know?
Exactly. Your chances are you're not going to do it better.
Definitely not.
Okay. 2 more questions left. These are kind of the 2 big questions, as I like to say. So the first one is, what is the song that means the most to you? It's not necessarily the song itself, but you associate it with something or somebody that makes it really important to you.
The first thing that came to mind is really random. It's Mustard and Roddy Ricch Ballin'. This is a song that like my wife and I used to love hearing on the radio, and we would be driving around. Like I remember we went on a trip to LA, and it was like really like they were playing it every like 5 minutes or something. But it kind of became like our song, you know. So it's like we played at our wedding, and it's just there's just something. It's a very fun song. It really it has no like significance inside of the lyrics or the song itself, but it's just because it was just the song that we like really enjoyed together, and I just always think of it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it's
a good song too.
It's a good song. I mean, it's like this really catchy song, and it's the second Mustard product, because didn't Mustard do the Kendrick song too?
He did, yeah. Mustard, he means a lot to me right now. Yeah.
But yeah, that's awesome. I love memories like that where it's just, it doesn't make any sense necessarily, but it just kind of happens. And then this thing becomes part of your life.
Yeah. No, I love that.
Yeah. But yeah, this song too, though, it makes me want to dance. It's
just a bop, man. Like, yeah. 25 on the Visa card. Like, it's really fun to listen to.
Yes. All right. Well, at this moment in time, anyway, right now, what is your favorite song?
So right now, like, I feel like my favorite song is Jubilee Street by Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. I've really gotten into Nick Cave only in recent years. Like, I didn't really listen to him a lot, but it's really his most recent albums that really resonated with me. Like a lot of the more like synthy, spoken word oriented records, and I became so into them. But this song, there's something in this song that is really transcendent, and it really, for me, is really the ultimate expression that you can get out of like songcraft. To me, what he's done here is there's something that it feels very timeless. It feels like it's from the beyond. It's from outside of any of us, you know, and it really feels like it's speaking to something that's transcendent and strange and hypnotic. Like I could listen to this song time and time again, like hundreds of times in a row, and it never gets old. There's just like something in it, like it feels like it's like almost like a hymn or something. Like it's very like timeless.
It feels like he like tapped into another like plane or something.
Yeah.
And it's and the way like this, like you said, like the songcraft of it, the way it builds up, and like that outro with the like orchestrations and the choir-ish kind of vocals, it just like hammers that feeling home to me, that timeless, otherworldly thing. And it just
it's
sort
like
of
what we talk about as a record. What is a
Mhm.
record? You want to record that, right?
Yeah.
It's like you want to have proof that happened, that you can
Yes.
take people to that place. And for me, it's like that's the ultimate goal. Is I want to make something that can make somebody feel the way I feel when I listen to that Nick Cave song.
Once again, thank you to Cadence Weapon. Go pick up Roller Coaster, give it a listen, check it out. It is, it's the electro album of his dreams, as he says, and it's fucking wonderful. All right, that is it. Oh, of course, you can listen to his playlist at the link in the show notes and all the anything you need to find that record, all the stuff, upcoming live shows, link in the show notes. If you enjoy this podcast, and the best thing you can do, of course, is listen to it. But if you could leave a rating or a review where on the platform you listen, that always helps. If you want to go one step further, patreon.com/Foxy Digitalis. You can throw a few bucks at it each month and you get the full conversation. You get it a week early and some other stuff, and it just really helps. And I appreciate it. Otherwise, hope everybody has a great week. Keep on listening to whatever the hell you want.